I keep trying to explain to dog owners that dog trainers are lying to you. Ivan Manavlov, this guy is a liar in chief and he's one of the heads of this entire dog training mafia. Ivan Manavlov is lying to you, and I want you to listen to this very, very carefully, how he blames B.F. Skinner and then goes on to talk about punishment. And then he will tell you point blank that it wasn't even a moral issue for Skinner, he openly opposed punishment. So Ivan, I would love to get you on a podcast and talk about this. If Skinner openly opposed punishment, then where did the punishment quadrants come from? You know exactly where they came from. I've had two interviews with two consults with two of your former clients. You didn't give them a book from B.F. Skinner, did you? You gave them a book from Conrad Most Training Dogs, and the very quadrants of dog training, which are primary and secondary inducements and primary and secondary inducive compulsions. Let's have a listen.
Based on this, Skinner named the positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment, also known as the operant conditioning quadrants.
Now, I would love for Ivan Manavlov to sit down on a video and actually define operant conditioning. Because if you get on Google and you look up what the trainers and behaviorists tell you, they define operant conditioning as a method of behavioral modification using reward and punishment. That is absolute garbage. B.F. Skinner would tell you point blank that operant conditioning is all about survival of the animal and the fittest. Let's keep on going.
It is critical to agree that punishment in some cases might be the only option to stop unacceptable or dangerous to self.
Okay, understand something very, very clearly. He's telling you point blank that punishment works. He's telling you that punishment is absolutely necessary. But yet he blames B.F. Skinner, the man who openly opposes punishment. And he's not willing to tell you why Skinner openly opposed punishment. Because once you understand what a behavior is, once you actually define the word and understand that aggression and reactivity is simply a fight and flight response based on cortisol and adrenaline, then punishment is out the window. You cannot punish behaviors. And you shouldn't be euthanizing dogs for behaviors. Let's keep going.
Or others' behavior. This is not about how we feel about punishment. It's a well-documented research in hundreds of...
Well-documented research. Punishment is well-documented research. Where is this research? What you're pushing right now is Zach George's AVSAB. A-V-S-A-B, and it's a garbage situation. They're always calling this stuff scientific consensus. There's a reason why they call it consensus, because if there was any science to it, they would just call it science. They can't call it science. What is a consensus? If you can get enough birds together that are willing to chirp the same song, there's your consensus. And Ivan is part of this. So is Robert Cabral. So is Zach George. They're all pushing the same garbage.
And scientific papers that cannot be argued with.
I would love to read these scientific papers. And Ivan, I would love to get your ass on a podcast to actually sit down and discuss this thing.
Period. There is no such thing. Everyone punishes at some point.
And they shouldn't need to. Now we're getting into B.F. Skinner himself, okay? This is his book about behaviorism. This is quotes directly from B.F. Skinner's book, okay? Talking about punishment and why it doesn't work. Read this, Ivan. Ivan is a well-read man. I have no doubt that he's read Skinner, but he's still lying about it. Why is he lying about it? Because Ivan is an IGP dog trainer, a sport of tracking, protection, and obedience. So when you're trying to train your dog obedience, you're actually practicing IGP dog training, which is also formerly known as Schutzhund. And who was the father of Schutzhund but Conrad Most? Ivan knows this. All the big name trainers know this. They won't mention Conrad Most's name. Robert Cabral actually preaches Conrad Most, but he will blame Skinner as well. But go listen to Robert Cabral try to define the word behavior. It was a joke. These guys have been in the behavior ring for the last 20 years and they can't even define the word. But yet kill your dog. They're the first ones in line to tell you to kill your dog. What does Skinner say about punishment? Punishment is easily confused with negative reinforcement, sometimes called aversive control. Bingo, right? The same stimuli are used. Negative reinforcement might be defined as a punishment for not behaving, but punishment is designed to remove a behavior from a repertoire, whereas negative reinforcement generates behaviors. So when your dog goes fight or flight, that's they're in the face of a negative reinforcement. Something in the environment is punishing the dog. You don't need to be punishing the dog. You don't need to reward the punish. You don't need to reward the dog. The environment is going to do it for you. That's all operant conditioning. Negative reinforcements generate behaviors. How can I explain that? Go watch one of my videos of me going into a backyard with a dog. I am a negative reinforcement that's shaping the dog's behavior to fight and flight. Let's keep on going. Punishing contingencies are just the reverse of reinforcing. Skinner is telling you point blank that punishment is not reinforcing. When a person spanks a child or threatens to spank him because he's misbehaved, he's presenting a negative reinforcer rather than removing one. When a government finds an offender or puts him in prison, it's removing a positive reinforcer or a situation in which behavior may be positively enforced rather than presenting a negative one. If the effect were simply the reverse, this is very important. If the effect were simply reverse, the effect of reinforcement, a great deal of behavior could be easily explained. But when behavior is punished, various stimuli generated by the behavior or the occasion are conditioned in the respondent pattern, and the punished behavior is then displaced by incompatible behavior conditioned as escape or avoidance, called the flight part of fight and flight. A punished person remains inclined to behave the punishable way. Why is that? Read that again. A punished person remains inclined to behave the punishable way, but he avoids punishment by doing something else instead, possibly doing more than stubbornly doing nothing. Now, what does that mean? The punished person remains inclined to do it. Why? Because all of your intent is in your mind, all your desires, your wants, your needs. You can punish the shit out of a behavior all you want. It doesn't change the fact that the desire is still in the mind. The mind has no shape, no place in your behaviors. Your mind has no control of your behaviors. The intent is still there. The intent is always there. If your child steals a cookie and you smack him on the ass for it, guess what? The desire for the cookie is always going to be there. That's why you need the threat of punishment, the constant threat of punishment. This is why you need to have you can't walk your dog without a prong collar. This is why you always have the e-collar remote in your hand, just in case. This creates insurance policies. And then people are running around, oh, my dog loves the prong collar, my dog loves the e-collar. No, they don't. You love the e-collar, you love the prong. Because you need that constant threat of punishment. That's the reality. And if I can't make this any clearer, that dog trainers are lying to you, I don't know what it's going to take. Have a good day.